not our thing really.
I guess this is.
So there's one
Yeah,
person watching. Okay. So yeah, maybe we'll wait a couple,
Yeah.
just a
I
couple
think we
more
need to wait
minutes
first for more
to
people.
see if somebody else might join before we get started. So if you have any questions or so, please feel free to post them in the chat, and we can point them out and answer them if we can. As the stream goes along, I think we will play the game for about, let's say, 1.5 to 2 hours.
Yep.
Show the basics of the game, how you can play, the more standard faction, and then we'll move on to the more complex ones.
All good before the release.
Hi, all good before the release, yes. It's very stressful, I have to say. It's not something I want to go through too often. It's really a lot to think about, and I slept very badly last night, I have to say. So yeah, very excited for the release. I think the game is in good shape, it's really nice, but yeah, let's see what you think. So yeah, some more people are joining now, that's great. Yeah, guys, we'll give it a couple more seconds or minutes just to see if anybody else is still joining. Then we'll move into it. Yeah. By the way, can you hear us okay? Can you hear the game audio as well? I'm not sure if everything is set up correctly. Please let us know if you can hear us. Hopefully. Can you even hear us? Are we muted?
No, I think it's fine. Yeah.
It's hereby perfect. Thank you. Okay. So I think we will just
Should be, maybe.
start in, let's say, 2
Yeah,
minutes.
2 minutes.
We will have waited for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Be great. Okay. Have you already played the game? Everybody in the chat. Do you know what you're looking at, or should we start from the beginning and explain the basics? Because the idea of this live stream is a little bit to really tell also new players how they can play our game, how everything works, how they do the basic steps, and then to do the more advanced things. Have you already played it?
I would like to get a summary, maybe, like an overview
Of the game?
of the
Yeah,
game.
for sure. So yeah, let's start with this then, I think. So the
Okay.
beginner
good,
player,
beginner
that's
player
perfect. So
Yeah.
this is the live stream for you, I
Yeah.
think. So that's great. I hope we will get a couple more players to check it out.
Okay.
Hello. Hey King, Racer King. Welcome.
Hello.
It's great to have you. So yeah, some more people are joining now. So again, we'll wait 1 more minute, I think, to see if anybody else is gonna
A few
join,
more
and
people
then.
have joined.
Mhm. Nice. It's one of our greatest. Awesome. That's great to hear. Okay. Yep. It's a little bit of a slow start, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's give everybody the time, like I said, and then we'll kick
Audio's
it
a bit
off.
low.
Audio's a bit low. So do we need to talk louder? I think we can also manipulate those sliders. Not sure what might happen.
Yeah.
Let's try it. So the music will cut out really quickly. So can you hear us any better now? We should be a little bit louder in comparison to the music. Can you hear us better? Is this a little bit better, or should we just talk a little bit louder?
Okay, it's better.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
that's great. So we have waited 5 minutes. I think let's just get the show on the road, shall we?
Yeah, we have some new people joining.
Okay, so yeah, everybody, welcome. It's super nice to have you in the chat. Today we want to take a look at our game, Sons of Silence, to be released tomorrow. And this is a strategy game. Most of you will probably know, but we have at least one very new player also in the audience. So we want to give you an overview of the basics of the game, what you need to do to just get into the game. Then we'll move on to a little bit more advanced topics. Maybe we'll have a sneak peek or like a quick look at our more complex playable factions. And if you have any questions, please write them in the chat, and we will just read them out.
I will
and
check them every now and then.
Exactly. This will be perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, please don't hold back. Ask us anything basically. So yeah, Sounds of Silence strategy game. It's a turn-based one with real-time battles. We have several game modes in the game. So this is the main menu. We have a multiplayer game mode. Currently, or today, we will focus on the single player just to keep everything a little bit more under control. but there is a multiplayer mode available. In the single player, that's the thing we want to look at today. We have access to a story-based campaign for single player. This is like one of the key focuses of the game. So when you start the game for the first time, I would advocate to check out the campaign. You will get to know the world, the characters, and our playable factions a little bit better this way. And the other major game mode is the skirmish mode. That's basically, this offers randomized maps. You can pick your starting heroes, your starting factions, all those things, and then have endlessly replayable maps. And today we'll play a couple of skirmish maps just to show the basics of the game, like I said. So I will set up a skirmish map right now. You can choose different sizes. There's one unique quirk in our game. The world is actually split into two separate worlds.
Okay.
So you can, when you set up a world, choose to have both sides, the light side and the dark world, or you can only set the game in the dark side or the light side based on your preferences. You can play any hero or any faction on either side, so that's not an issue, but especially the both-sided maps can be really long and epic. Like, obviously this doubles the size of a map. So we start, let's say, with a medium. Let's start with a small map for now, so we can get the action rolling a little bit faster. We start on the light side. We will not do a team game. You can choose fates. They will manipulate the special rules of the game. For example, if you want to have it more difficult or very fast rolling turns, stuff like this. For now, we'll just keep everything standard. And on the next screen, I can choose my faction, the faction I want to play. Just click here, I'm player blue, and currently we have 3 playable factions in the game.
Okay.
We would like to release additional factions, so stay tuned. I'm currently already a little bit working on something, but I cannot announce anything there yet. So we have the Thousand Kingdoms. This is basically our starter faction, like normal humans, I would say. We have the old race, an ancient race of slightly different humans, and then we have the Crusade, a very aggressive type of religion which destroys the world by spreading what we call the silence, like a corruption in the game world. For now, we'll pick the Thousand Kingdoms just to show you the absolute basics here. You can choose a starting class, and in the game we have a lot of different hero classes. Some of them can be locked if you click this little this icon. You can go to the quests. That's part of our meta, and you see a lot of tasks you can fulfill to unlock more content in the game, more heroes, more playable factions, stuff like this. So this is always interesting just to check out what you need to do to unlock new hero classes, for example. For now, let's go back and just select one of the already unlocked ones. I'll start with the absolute basic one, the High Lord. This is your general leader type of character, not a super strong warrior by himself, but he's really good at building up his kingdom and leading really massive armies when he levels up. And last but not least, and that's really exciting, I think, all of our heroes have different vocations, subclasses, so to speak, different specialties. So the High Lord alone has access to 3 of those vocations. Most heroes have about 3 to 4 different vocations, and they can have quite a different playstyle. They have access to different cards, we'll see this in the game, different starting units, different special abilities. We can choose between the Knight Captain, obviously focused on building strong knight-type armies, or the Realm Builder, who's more focused on creating buildings and building up the empire, and more on the economy side. But he's also really good at with infantry and constructs like catapult-type units. A little bit of a different playstyle here. We'll go for the Knight Captain for now. Playing against 2 AI factions, let's just start. So, I like Hierophant most. He sounds shiny man, yep. Hierophant is another of the hero options for the Thousand Kingdoms. It's like a priest type character, and there is an option, or several options, which really focus on summoning, either during the battle or outside of the battle, to get kind of angelic type of units into your armies.
Okay.
We call those luminants, so they are made up of light. So this is where the shiny man in the in the chat comes from. I really like this description. We should change it in the game. So yeah, let's see. We have the Thousand Kingdoms here. As you can see, we are on the map. We can zoom out, drag the map. We can zoom in anywhere. But now everything is covered in Fog of War. We have to discover it by moving our heroes there. So and to explore, we just need to move one of our armies. But first, let's see what we have available. We have our heroine here. She is called Aurelie Hograf. Okay, that's an interesting name. A lot of those names are randomly generated. And we have a city we start in. House Begeric, we can right-click anything in the game just to take a closer look. So now, this is our starting army, this is our hero, and she comes with a super strong contingent of knights because she's a knight captain, so that's a very strong, very explosive start in the game. Some heroes, which are more focused on the mid to late game, start with very weaker armies, but yeah, this one is a really good one to expand early on. And we also see that there's a city, that's the House Begeric, our capital city, and it gives us access to income, which is very important, some gold, some building material, even some divine favor. You can see this in the top left. Those are the resources we have at our disposal right now. Each location, each unit has a couple of other special rules. I will go into them when they become relevant, but it always is worthwhile to check those out by checking the tooltips. In the end, you will need to learn a bit about the game, especially in the higher difficulties. You need to understand how units interact, what strong synergies you have, and so on. You can right-click any of your units as well. So for example, this is our hero, and for example, you will see she's a leader-type character. She leads cavalry and knight-type units rank 3, so she boosts those types of units by +3 combat power, which is really strong. And luckily, all of the units she has with her are actually knight and cavalry units, so they get a boost from being in the same army, which is already good. And we have access to a couple of cards, which give us options for upgrading units or recruiting new types of units. Since I can still lead another unit, I will actually pick up a new unit of knights. Yep. So really strong. And we will also pick up a unit of Hearthsworn. Those are basic infantrymen. They will make my army a little bit slower because they are not fast like the knights, but that's fine. And later we can upgrade them to a strong units of knights, so I'll just take them with me. They are currently sitting in the reserves. They travel with the army, but they cannot fight. So let's move out and get this started. I right-click to move my army, and you can see you uncover a bit of this fog of war. We have discovered a location. There are a couple of units in there, 2 heavy units of Yagas. Those are crossbow-wielding melee specialists, like they are specialized in hunting monsters. But they can also break through our armor relatively easily, but it's no big deal. We'll just crush them with our knights and run them over real quick, because I actually have to siege. So let's wait a turn. This is a fortified location, so we have to wait until we break down the fortifications. So I will end my turn. It's a turn-based game after all, and after all the NPC factions and the AI have moved, it's back to my next turn. So now the gates are broken down, I will attack them. Locations are super important.
Yeah.
We want to capture them because we get new income in resources, and often locations also give us access to new recruitment options and other cards.
Okay, I was going to ask about the cards, yeah.
So, this is a battle. I've currently paused the battle, because as you can see, the game is just knight roll people. Yep, that's a really good advice. We will just steamroll people with knights. So the battle is real time, in contrast to the turn-based strategy part of the game. But you don't have to feel stressed out. You can always hit the space bar or just hit the or click the pause button to pause the affair. You can look at all the tooltips to understand what your units or the enemy's units do, or what your cards do. The cards are important because they give us access to special bonuses. For example, we could make those guys run really quickly and give them a bonus to power. So when I unpause, they will now also immediately charge the enemy. And my knights are crashing into the enemy lines. They are easily overrun by so many knights, should be no problem. I will actually use this card to send all of my knights up here, just to gang on those poor fellas here and kill them very quickly. Oh, there are still some left. Let's boost the power of our units. They immediately go back to charging, and charging knights deal a ton of damage, so this should be over very quickly. Yep, last enemy goes down, very easy starting battle, especially with a strong army like this. For the battle, we will earn a little bit of loot. It's always good. Some gold. We get experience points, and when we get enough experience points, our hero will gain a level up, and then we can make them stronger. We'll see this in a second. You can also always check out the casualties you suffered during the battle if you are interested in this. So, capture the first location. It's currently burning. It's in unrest because we just captured it. I could burn it down completely to the ground to loot some resources, but we want to keep it for now and build it up later. I pass my turn, continue. My first goal is to spread out a little bit discover parts of the map, and capture more locations. So I can increase the income I earn per turn. As you can see, this location, for example, gives an income of 6 gold per turn, which is added to the total we already have on our capital city. So now we are 26. It's always worthwhile to grab more locations.
Yeah.
So let's see. One weakness of our character is that she cannot easily heal her units. She's not a healer herself, and she doesn't have access to healing type units. Right now my army is regenerating, as you can see with the little green pluses here. This is because I'm sitting inside a location which has the supply special rule. So ending your turn in a supply location is really good for regenerating your units, but they are static. If you have healer type units or artifacts or special cards, you can take those effects with you, which makes it much more convenient to heal. For now we are not really damaged. Let's just continue and try to take some more land. I'll move over here. Okay, that's interesting. There's actually a major city here on a low level. This is very, very attractive to conquer. They give a lot of resources, and we have another, like a watchtower up here. Oh no, that's a Celestial Temple, really. Celestial Temple is awesome because it gives us access to the valuable Divine Favor resource here. It is a little bit heavily defended though. This guy is really strong, the Wordbringer. I think we could take him with all the knights, but maybe we will first focus on the city down here. There's a couple of bandit cavalry in here and some feathered hounds. They are medium to light units. They should not pose a big threat to our heavy cavalry, so we will just go in and crush them. I made a mistake here, I just noticed, because all of the units have special rules, and maybe it works out well in the end. As you can see, my line breaker unit, the big knight, just charged straight through the enemy. Those characters, like those units, actually have trample damage. They can trample all the units around them. So enemies with evasion, they have the evade special ability, they ignore trample damage because they're just so nimble. So this is not great. I should have not put them opposite or across the feathered hounds we had here as enemies. It's not a big deal right now because they are so underpowered compared to our army, but it's always really worthwhile to check what enemy formations you have opposite of you, and then adjust the formation of your own troops a little bit. We'll see this later when we come to a little bit more dangerous enemies, that this is really, really impactful. We earned a level up, that's always appreciated. So let's see. Capture the location. Everything in our game is done by playing cards. So we have access to 2 cards here. This one lets me upgrade this. Oh no, this is actually a ruin. This is completely destroyed. Yep, that's a ruin. That's not ideal, so we have to rebuild this location to actually be able to earn any resources from it. That's fine. We need 100 building material. Currently we have 70 and earn 10 per turn. So in a couple of turns we can afford this. Oh, this is actually 200. Forgot what I said. Probably not the wisest decision to attack the city. We also have another card, and this is the level up card. We gained it by leveling up the hero. We'll just drag it onto the hero, and now we can make a choice.
Okay.
We always offer 3 new cards, like 2 new and 1 card you already possess, and you can upgrade it to a higher rank, to a higher power level. So this is like the Bull Rush, which sends all of our cavalry to the target area and tramples enemies in between. That's really powerful. But I think in the beginning I really like to branch out and unlock a couple more cards. So this is another battle card which gives us a combat boost and makes us immune to fear and dread of the enemy, sometimes very useful. The blue card here allows us to upgrade one of our existing locations with a building. And this gives us access to different special rules like income or supply and storage here, but it also gives us access to very strong units. And we can recruit Rage Thorn super heavy cavalry in here, which is great for this type of hero. So we just pick this thing and see if we can build one. We could build it in any of our locations. So maybe the capital city, obviously in the ruin wouldn't do us much good right now. So ideally we place it either here in this in the watchtower or in our capital city. To do so I can just select my hero and then drag the card, but as you can see we cannot afford it yet, but next turn. So let's just skip the turn, or end the turn, and see what happens. You can already see, there's some movement over here. You can already see some more locations in this forested valley over here. Maybe something we should check out soon. In the beginning of the next turn I actually got a new hero to recruit. especially early in the game, you should always take those offers, because having 2 or 3 heroes is really, makes you much more flexible for exploration and so on. So let's just pick this hero. We have to play it on the capital city. It costs a couple of resources. It's not too costly, but for now we can afford it. And then now we can choose one of 3 different heroes we want. There's always 2 heroes which belong to the faction you're playing, the Thousand Kingdoms in our case, like this knight type, normal human type of faction. We have a Hierophant, that's a healer, strong healer, and a priest, very interesting. We have a Hochmeister. This guy's a beatstick here, so he can only lead smaller armies, but he's very, very powerful on his own. So since we are lacking a lot of resources right now, we could pick this guy because he can clean up some minor armies all by himself. Okay. Or pick a Hierophant. It's also very interesting. There's also a neutral hero.
Someone requested for that.
Okay, so if the chat is for the Hierophant, we will pick the Hierophant. Just quickly, we also have always access to one neutral hero, and they can be played by any faction. There are currently, I think, 5 different neutral hero classes in the game. Maybe there will be some in the future, and they all have their different vocations and so on. So this makes your playstyle much more flexible, instead of just relying on the basic unit heroes of your faction. Let's pick the Hierophant, just to make people happy here. That's great. Hierophant is a great one. We recently, for all of our more veteran players here, we have made a massive balancing update, and we have changed, updated and buffed a lot of the heroes. Hierophant, for example, was also on the receiving end of a lot of interesting buffs to make the different vocations more clearly defined and stronger. So have a look out for the War Priest. He obliterates entire units. It's really fun to see him go. And yeah, this is a basic Hierophant. Let's have a look. This is our Hierophant. He spreads incense all over the place. And he is inspiring Starborn, so our human type of troops. That's great. And so they become resistant to fear and dread. This will come up sooner rather than later. He's a strong ranged unit, so he can shoot, deal a lot of damage, and he is a very strong healer. That's cool. It says so in the tooltip here. We can have a quick look. This is how he looks. That's the healer perk right here. So every turn he heals all of the damaged units in his army, or the location he's standing in, wherever he is. And so you can just keep moving and keep healing up your units. It's very, very attractive. He also comes with a unit of very destructive acolytes of wrath, so they shoot lightning bolts all over the place and annihilate enemies. Sadly, he only has a weak unit of spearmen or spear fighters here, and we don't have the means to afford another frontline unit. We have to protect those. They are a little bit more fragile. But next turn, we can actually summon angels. That's also really interesting. Here's a summoning type of card. So maybe we'll get some strong angels here to protect those units. I would just say we risk it for the biscuit and we just go out and explore some more. We have to be a little bit careful. When we are inside a location, we are safe from those little neutral armies roaming about. But when we are outside, they might as well choose to attack us. So I could try to hide in the forest, but it's too far to reach it. Without marching. It's a little bit more complex. I will explain this later, but for now it's not so easy to reach the spot. So I will just move up here and then next turn move over there. Maybe you can still do some moves. Yeah, we'll just move here. What I want to do is I want to stay below 50% of my overall movement, and my army will stay what we call in the in the battle formation. They are battle ready. If they get attacked, it's a normal battle, so I'm all good. If I move faster than 50%, the army will stretch out in a long thin line, and this is known as the marching formation. And if an army marches and gets attacked before the start of the next turn, they will be ambushed, and that's not nice. So only do this if you are sure that there are no hidden enemies in the forest, or there are enemies nearby which might take advantage of this. So we explore a little bit here. This is another watchtower. Not sure if we need it. Let's see. There's a Fallen Pride. That's interesting. They give us access to a lot of building material. That's exactly what we need to upgrade, like to rebuild the city here and to build the building card we just unlocked the turn previously. There's a kobold dwarf, so there's a lot of weird creatures over here to recruit. That's also interesting. There's a dungeon, like an adventure location. We can send our heroes in to fight and hopefully gain really powerful units or artifacts, but this is heavily defended. So the next thing we should grab is the temple, I think. So for now, we will just go over there and try to attack the temple. So because there's this Wordbringer type of monster type unit here, we will just let the 2 bulls stand right across them and then charge them with those guys. They will go straight through because they have line breaker. And the unit on the bottom we will charge with those 2 units of knights. And we level it up so we can bring in an additional unit in the battle, so we'll also pick up those guys and put them here. And the best thing we could do is actually start our army like so, because the enemy will shoot at the closest unit available.
Oh.
So this huge guy with the lightning bolts will just try to obliterate our little spearman, which we don't care too much about.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of more cannon fodder, but we don't want the big lightning strikes to hit our super cavalry here, because they could take very, very heavy damage. So let's do it like this. And now we'll attack them and see how this goes. How's the chat doing?
A lot of comments, a lot of activity.
Okay, what's the Songs of Silence theory? Oh god, I didn't pull back those other knights, so this was probably not the best play. Because he just immediately ignored my nice spearman trap. Can fly, jumps away, that's not ideal. And now we will just crush him with all of our units here. Go kill those guys. I'll bring over all my cavalry units to the Wordbringer and try to beat it. The Wordbringer, you see this effect on the top, it reflects damage whenever we try to attack it. So it's not great if you try to attack it with lots of weak attacks like those spearmen, but it's okay for the knights. They only have a couple of more powerful attacks, and they are heavily armored, so they can deflect the damage and ignore it. This thing's already done for. Easy. So yeah, we are beginning to suffer a little bit of casualties. We got another level up, that's great. Let's pick some upgrade here. So we have, oh, that's interesting. So we can upgrade this card, which lets us upgrade the big spearman unit, which is now damaged. It's also
to make them strong.
To make them into a super strong unit, but we already have it on the base rank. I remember that I talked about this character lacking means of healing. So this is actually really cool because both of those cards give us different access to healing options. This card lets us set up camp somewhere on the map, and we immediately regenerate some health and can bunker in and try to defend ourselves until we move again. And this thing is another building card which can upgrade existing locations, and it also adds supply. For healing effects, I think this one is cheaper and a little bit more effective, so I will just go for this card. I really like it because this lets us, be on the offensive for longer instead of moving back and staying put in our home location. So that's great. Next turn we will get more income here and get some angels. Remove this guy, let's end the turn, see what happens. By the way, I didn't mention it so far, but the goal of the game, normally in a skirmish mode like this or in a multiplayer match, is to capture the capital cities of all the other factions.
Okay.
As soon as my capital city is captured by enemies, I'm immediately eliminated from the match. Irrelevant if I own more locations or have more heroes available, you have to protect your capital. So that's super important. In the campaign, obviously, we have much more diverse mission objectives and different tasks to do, but for the standard missions, this is the case. So, we'll explore a little bit more here. See, I'm now sitting hidden in the forest, because I'm not marching and I'm inside the forest, so enemies cannot see me.
Yeah.
If they try to move through here and stumble over my army, I will ambush them.
So you just have to go slowly.
Exactly. If you go fast, you cannot hide, but if you go slow, you can hide and stay a little bit more safe. So let's see, this is a dungeon. We want to take this thing. What should we go for? We have to make a choice here. We want to build. Oh, that's also not nice. But first things first, we have to decide if we want to build a certain building, like an upgrade for our locations. For example, this one, but this lets us recruit really strong knights. Very nice, gives them more gold income. But this one is also cool because it increases the divine favor income, and we have very low divine favor income right now, and gives us access to priest type units and summoning. So this is also cool, but we can only afford one. Do you want to go more for the angel type units or heavy knights?
Heavy knights.
Heavy knights sounds great. Everybody likes knights. Cool. So let's build the knight one right here, I would say. So you can see that there's like the structure being built, and this now adds, if I right click, this icon to our location. So the high tower adds gold income per turn, storage, which is nice, so we can hand in our loot, and also supply. So it helps us heal, which is really nice because we couldn't heal here before. And we get these units here. Rage Storm. They are quite expensive. Those are actually those guys we started with. That's coincidence because the Knight Captain is I think the only hero who can start with this type of unit. But now we can have more. Somebody just pushed the microphone on top of us. Very, very nice. Thank you. I hope you can hear us better now. The microphone is now a little bit closer. So yeah, there's an interesting one in the chat. The last question.
I still couldn't unlock everything.
So yeah, so Yumashi Art says, "Oh my God, I was playing the game for months and still couldn't unlock everything." We haven't even talked about this. So there are quests. We showed them very briefly earlier. So whenever you do something in the game, either in the campaign there are quests for this, or in skirmish modes. For example, you try to win a match with this very hero we are currently playing, or you try to recruit a lot of weird kobold type units. Like there are different tasks. And if you do the task, you can unlock new heroes to play, for example.
Okay.
So initially you have access to a lot of heroes and playable factions. I think 6 or so heroes are immediately available and 3 factions. But you can unlock more and more as you go. With all the vocations included, I think we have about 40 different heroes to play and unlock. So there's a lot of stuff to try out, and all of those offer some interesting strategies, cards, units they synergize with, and so on. So we will wait for this. We could recruit some angels, but I think our priest is better off with the angels for now. The other trick we could do, this spearman unit is nearly dead. What we will now do is use this card, because this card lets us upgrade a unit of spearmen, the Hearthstone, into a super powerful unit of honor guard. That's another very elite knight type unit. Super nice. You just have to recruit the basic spearmen, and then you can take them with you and upgrade them whenever you need. This is really cool. They are also line breaker units, so they break right through the enemy's troops, unless they have the block perk where they really bounce off. So we will just put those behind them, because they go through the enemy, and then the other ones crash in the front, and then we sandwich them from both sides. It's never nice to be on the receiving end of this. And put our hero here.
Oh, we've been playing already for 30 minutes.
For 30 minutes? Okay, cool. So yeah. So let's go a little bit further with those. Again, like if you have any questions, chat, please post them in the chat, and we will just answer them on the side. We definitely want to take a look at a couple more complex mechanics and factions later, but let's try to continue a little bit for now. So we have more knights. That's good. See, this is interesting. Those units here are called portals, and those have the block perk. Here. No, this is armor, this is the block perk. So all the devastating charge units like heavy cavalry and the line breaker units will just bounce off and the effect is cancelled. So they can actually effectively block knight charges. It's not the most effective target for us, but we could easily cut through them with our priest units, because they have lots of armor breaking, and they could just defeat those units very easily. We'll explore a little bit further. Oh, there's a green location. So this means we have encountered the first AI enemy. They have captured this military encampment here, and they have this is fortified, so we would have to besiege it for a while. Maybe there is some army close by. We don't see it yet. So if we just charge head on into the siege, they could attack us. We don't know what's happening here yet. I am out of movement, basically. I cannot easily reach the forest and still hide, because I'm already marching. If they attack me now, we will be ambushed. What we're doing is, we move a little bit closer, just to see if we can see anybody, and then we'll use the encamp army card, and this immediately returns our army back to battle-ready formation and creates a little camp. So we are really very heavily defended here. This also heals our troops immediately, so we should have recovered a lot of health. A lot of the damaged health bars are gone now. We restored one of the dead knights even here. That's nice. So we should be ready for whatever they are throwing. So it's always good to check the health. For sure, that's super important. And also, exactly, and also try to keep your damaged units alive. Before you continue, just throw them away. Like a damaged unit like this, put them in the reserves. Ooh, sorry, don't delete them. Put them in the reserves where they are not participating in battle. Try to bring them back to your locations. Put them in a location and let them regenerate over time. It's much more valuable if you can regenerate them instead of losing them and having to recruit a new unit, which is quite costly. So yeah, that's great. We are sitting pretty here, and we have a little priest. I really want to go for those portals up here. So we'll slowly make our way up. We don't want to march. Should we stay hidden or just go as close as we can? We just go a little bit closer.
Yeah, a little closer.
Yeah, but we don't merge, so we are still safe from being attacked in an ambush. Let's see what happens. I will zoom out to see if we can... Oh, some movement. Somebody's approaching our capital city.
Oh.
If they take it, it's currently basically undefended. It's really game over.
So you need one
it's
of
not
the-
great. Yeah. So we need to come up with some kind of answer. Let's look at the army. They have Dumas the Just. He's also a High Lord hero. So by chance, one of the AIs picked also a Thousand Kingdoms type of unit with a similar one. He's a basic High Lord, vocation High Lord, so none of the strong starter heroes like our Knight Captain, so a little bit weaker. And he has a very weak army. And gold, we could steal from him if you kill him. That's great.
Oh.
It's always nice. Because the gold you earn during a battle will be stashed in so-called loot wagons. And they are in your army's reserves. And you have to bring them back to one of your locations with a storage perk. And where you can cash the gold in to actually use it. But if you keep pushing into enemy territory and you capture a lot of gold...
It might be stolen.
Exactly. Somebody will just attack your weakened army and take a lot of gold from you. And same goes for artifacts. So this guy is not a big threat. But with no defenders in the city, he will probably
There's a random question.
Yeah, please, go for it.
How tall is Lorelei?
How tall is Lorelei? I think she's 162 centimeters. Like 1 meter, 62 centimeters. I just made it up on the spot. I have absolutely no clue. I've never stood next to her, so I can't tell you. But I think she is of medium height. I hope this helps. I really don't know. But keep asking what the height of all the other characters, and I can come up with random answers to this as well. So what do? We could pull back this army, we could pull back the priest. I think that's the better idea here, just to deflect this attack. So we go a little bit back, just jump straight back into our capital city and see what they do. Maybe they don't even see our city yet, because it's still covered by clouds, and they will come a little bit closer, and when they realize that there's a stronger army in there, and try to run away, we will just get them and steal their gold. I will, in preparation, grab another unit of Hearthstone infantry, because they can protect our weaker ranged fighters. And they have a little quirk, which is called banding. So for every other unit of the Guardian type, they become stronger. So they really like to team up with Guardians. You see, they are Guardians. The priests are not Guardians, they are Believers, but we can grab some other Guardian units as well, so just to make them stronger. Yeah. Which is good.
That makes sense.
So that's nice. So we have Team Knights up here. I think we will just lay siege and start. Let's have a look around. Oh, there's another location. This is cool. That's a different faction. That's the old race. You can see that they have those yellow, golden lines, rivers flowing through the ground. We call those Earthblood veins. That's a little bit like a lore term. They are rivers of light, basically, like an energy. We call him in the game. And to make use of locations, the old race has to connect them in the big network, like a spider web of connected locations. So if I, for example, capture this one, the two on the side are no longer connected and they lose their income and so on. So I can disrupt their network. It seems like, I would guess that their starting position is somewhere up here, because there seems to be a connection going up here. Obviously, they could also be somewhere here, but I have a hunch that they are in the corner somewhere. So maybe we just want to take a couple of very careful steps. Yep, there's something. Let's have a look. This is the capital city of the old race. And it's currently nearly undefended. There's just one militia type of unit. It's not the strongest one. It's a really valuable location. And if we can kill them, they will be out of the match. I'm sure they will have some heroes somewhere. So we will just... Oh, there's a hero. Yep, they are playing a Triune. That's a... like a political leader type of a general type of hero. They actually consist of 3 different people representing the 3 different pillars of their society. And they have a solid army here, some warriors, some civilians. They are not the strongest fighters for sure, but they always need to upgrade the civilians into stronger units first. So it's a little bit of a slower playstyle. We could take on the hero, just eliminate it. I think this would be the best course of action before we go to the capital and then they, attack us and maybe they have 2 armies. So let's just kick them out of the hero out by attacking them. And we want to immediately crush the civilian units they have down here. And we want to occupy the warriors on the top, because they are very tanky and they can block off our charges.
Okay.
So that's not what we want. We want to use the other knights to go straight for their hero. Let's hope that this works out. So we'll try to distract the knights with our relatively tanky hero and crush the civilians and their hero as quickly as possible. Let's see what happens. So there's also a militia unit. You can see our line breakers charge right through and should end up, because we charge at an angle, we are right where their heroes are standing, and their super defensive warrior unit up here can't do anything. I will now charge all my units here to evacuate our hero. So now those warriors are stranded, without any action, and we will kill off their hero as quickly as possible, because they summon these really heavy melee fighters, and if we keep them unoccupied, there will be more and more and more of those in the battle, which can turn the tide against us very quickly. So let's see what happens. The hero is dead, that's great. Now we have to get the warriors, but alone they probably won't do much. Our charges just bounce off without dealing additional damage. That's just how it is against those type of units. And we need to engage those in melee as quickly as possible. They pierce right through multiple of our units, so we'll charge everybody over here. Now they can no longer shoot because they're stuck in melee and they shoot. Wrap up the fight. The enemy retreated. What a coward. Yeah, well, it was the right decision, so maybe we'll have to hunt them down later. Level up. That's great. And let's see. So the enemy runs away. Well, they will probably not get very far because that's the edge of the map, so that's good. Let's level up once more and see what happens here. Ooh, we can upgrade our nice encampment card. I really like this one because it makes it stronger, the healing effect, and also gives us more power when we defend it. This is also useful, one of the more basic battle cards, I would say, but it's really nice to give you a defensive buff, because the knights are already very defensive, so you can make them really tough to take out. And this is another building card, but we are lacking resources left, right, and center, so we should not take another card like this.
Definitely upgrade.
Battle or upgrade? You make the choice.
Upgrade.
Upgrade, that's good. So let's upgrade the card. So this now, you see, becomes a silver rank card. The final rank would be gold. That's the most powerful rank. And for some cards, it's very, very important to level them up. Some others, you have more of an option to branch out wider instead of deep. But it really depends on your playstyle and what kind of cards are offered. By the way, every hero has their own unique pool of cards. Some cards are shared, but there are a lot of unique cards in each pool as well. And I think most of our heroes have around 7 to 8, I think 8 cards in their pool. Okay. Each can be upgraded twice, so there's a lot of choice to be made. But it's kind of focused what you get. And whenever you level up, you get 3 random options from this pool of 8.
And we can see how many cards we have left from there.
Yeah, so if you want to check out the cards you have at your disposal, you can just inspect your unit and you will see those cards belong to your hero. So she has battle cards and some strategy cards, the blue ones, and also a gray card. They are called recruitment cards. And the cards on the right belong to the location we are currently inspecting. Okay. So this one is currently in unrest. So we cannot use it because we just have captured it. But next turn they will become available. But you see, we need level 3, the location level 3 for this card to unlock. So let's see what happens. I don't think we need any flying horror type of units, but this is definitely an interesting option. Like I said, a lot of different locations give you access to unique units, and you can incorporate them into your strategy. So let's end our turn. See, the green will probably run away, and the red guy also retreats. Okay, so he's not going and walking straight into our trap. That's a little bit sad. And those guys are trying to make their way back to one of their locations. But what's really interesting, you see, this one was connected to their capital by this yellow line, and then this one, and then it continued like this. By taking out this location, they lost access to at least 2 other locations, so they are really crippled by now. As an old race, we will play it maybe soon. You will see that you have to play very defensively and leave garrison units inside your locations or fortify your locations to make sure that a small unit like this cannot interrupt your network so easily. Okay. So we could either go for those guys and kill them. I think it's not needed. They don't pose any threat to us anymore. Yeah. So we'll just go straight at the throat and besiege their capital. Let's see if they recruited something. No, there's just 1 militia unit. As soon as we start a siege, it will lock down the entire location. So now We have to wait 4 turns. This will really take us a while to besiege
Okay.
this massively fortified location, but they cannot do anything here. They cannot recruit. All of the income is locked. It's grayed out. The cards are grayed out, so they are really out of the match, I would say.
So you can change and
Yep.
leave.
Now we just have to figure out a way to keep off the red players so they don't interfere up there. So this looks very promising. Let's see. I would just go for a summoning card from the priest. Let's see what we get. Summoning always grants you a random unit from a pool. So this is a lesser luminance summoning. So there are several units which are of basically comparable power, but you don't know if you get more melee focused infantry or ranged units, stuff like this. And so this is a little bit different to the recruitment, where you exactly know what kind of unit you will get. This is very strong. That's luminant infantry. Those are like angelic. How did you call it, Chad? The light guys or something? I don't remember.
The shiny guys.
The shiny guys, yeah. Those are the shiny guys. Very potent, very strong. They're much stronger than our spearmen, so we'll just put the spearmen in the reserves, put them in front. We will protect our priests here and put those in front of our hero. He's a little bit tougher. And as soon as our hero levels up, we can bring them from the reserves back into the army, because then we can lead more units after each level up. So let's follow the red army. Let's stay hidden in the forest. So we'll move over here. So they will not be able to see us. So we'll just stay here and follow them slowly. So far, so good. The next thing we can do, or we should do, so they are attacking back the location we took earlier. They restored the network, okay, fine. But they are very, very diminished, and they cannot heal in this location, so we don't have to stress about those guys. If they attack us, we will just crush them. So they might be able to, they will probably attack us just to prevent them from being wiped out, but it will not do them any good. So what we can do is, you see that this location says level 1, and there's this arrow pointing up. This means that the location has prospered enough, it has collected prosperity points. This is similar to experience points for the heroes, but they just accumulate over time.
Okay.
And when it is full, you can play an upgrade card, which costs you building material. It's a little bit costly for now, but then you can level up the entire location to the next rank. So it becomes visually more impressive, and you increase, you unlock more recruitment options, you increase the income. We recently, just for some veterans in the chat, made some changes to the balancing as well. So basically all of the locations now grant some kind of basic income, and we try to, make it much more valuable to level up locations, military, whatever it is. So there's an actual much more meaningful choice here. I would really like to upgrade my temple, but as you can see, I didn't pay attention. Some neutral enemies have taken our temple. That's the one where we built our building.
Oh,
It's
I see
not
that.
great. We should probably send the priest to take those out. Yep. So we are not only showing you guys how to play the game, but also how not to play the game. That's obviously on purpose. Yeah. It's not. I just forgot about it. So let's see. We'll just wait for the siege to end up there, and hopefully take this location back as quickly as possible, and then upgrade it. So they have built something here. They're trying to recruit some more units. Maybe they can put up some defense in the end. Oh yes, look at this. So they picked up a couple more units. So they will probably try to attack us next turn before we can take them out. We bring some reinforcements from here. So this one could be upgraded. Do we want to upgrade it? Let's take a quick look. By upgrading it, we will unlock the units of Jägers. Those are really strong melee and ranged units. I really like those guys. But they don't have specific synergies with our priest. So I think we should go for the temple instead. So we'll just keep this here and attack those units. Let me take a brief look. Those units have area effect attacks, so they can deal devastating damage to infantry. So our units are really bad at attacking them. What we will do, instead of suffering heavy losses, we will just put those guys in front because they have supernatural protection, and then send those guys in from as a second wave when they are already locked up in melee. Let's hope, and then we will nuke those guys from here. So let's try this. Cool. So they will start shooting. Yep. So we block a lot of the damage because we have, like I said, supernatural protection. Let's look at this. This is called Ward. So I need to figure. Oh, the tooltip should pop up right now. Here it is. So the Wars 2 means that they are blocking non-supernatural damage basically. And I will use this card from our priest to summon some of those luminant units to lock down the second unit in melee, so they can no longer shoot. So we lost the entire unit. It's also really not a good showcase. Oh boy. Let's hope for the best. Our second wave of spearmen charges in. Let's summon some more peeps here. And now our priest's doing a lot of work here, because when they hit with their lightning bolts, they deal a ton of damage. So they should be able to take those out really quickly. Suffered a loss, like I really didn't pay attention. This was not great, but it should be fine. At least we'll be able to take back our temple. And the building we placed there. So yeah, I think they cannot overcome the units I summon. The summoning type of characters you have to eliminate very quickly, otherwise they will just overwhelm you. There are also units which summon units, so that's really good. No, it's good for us because we because we won. So we picked up some loot.
We survived.
Exactly. Yep, you can see here, like we suffered the one unit, a couple of the half guard, but this is a very strong healer. He will immediately replenish those casualties very quickly. But the dead unit is dead, so that's definitely gone. So take back the temple here. One more turn or two more turns to finish the siege, and then I think we should move on. There's a question. Yeah, please go for it.
From Ravi. Does something new unlock depending on your results in the last session, like a roguelike, or is this more like a 4 times game where you have liberty to preset the variables of each session?
So this is a 4X type of game, so a 4X turn-based strategy game. It's very streamlined. It's not a super complex type of strategy game, but it has a lot of depth to it. So don't be don't expect that this is very simple or anything like this. This is you set up the new session, and based on there are quests outside the game, like in our menu, you can see what you have to do to unlock new content. So this is how it goes. It's not like a roguelike where you, for example, earn resources whenever you play a match, and then you spend those resources after the match to unlock something. It's a little bit of a similar idea. You keep playing the game to unlock more things. But this is how it goes. So we've used a couple of those ideas with typical strategy games. So they attacked us very desperately because they will be knocked out in the next turn. But they will not be able to kill us. So we can pick up a new hero. That's nice. Do we really need it? I really would say we should concentrate on upgrading this temple first. Let's build this up to rank 2. Let's zoom in. See, this has now 2 flags, and this looks a little bit more impressive with 2 tower structures. We increased its income, and now this is a very valuable location for us. We have 20 income, so every second turn basically we can already summon a new unit of angels, the ones we just lost, so next turn we can replenish those losses. One more turn to take those guys out. I think the priest should be good to go. He already regenerated most of the losses. Let's bring him back the other spearman unit. And we cannot afford any of those units, so let's wait a turn. We have a lot of gold. I will just start building up units. That's important. You can recruit units without a hero being present. So I will start building up a little defense army. I can either move back here and pick them up later, but I want to clearly send a signal to the red AI, which is running around somewhere here, that they should not attack my city. This would be ideal. So let's see what happens next. And right now, this seems rather easy. We are playing a very strong starting hero, very explosive start, like I said initially, against a slow faction here on a very small map. So all the, it's all stacked in our favor right now. So let's crush those guys again. That's their last ditch effort to prevent the city from being taken next turn, and then they are out of the match. I think then we will move on to play another faction, just to get a look at something different. For everybody who has not played the game yet, there were some questions. Again, as a reminder, we also have a really nice, I think, story campaign, fully narrated, fully voiced, and we put a lot of effort into this. So if you're more the narrative type, if you want to focus on getting to know our world, the characters, their struggles, I would suggest starting with the campaign. But obviously, if you're really into strategy games, the meat and potatoes can be this skirmish mode, which you can also play in multiplayer. So there's endless replayability via randomized maps, and you can pick from a lot of different heroes and their factions to try out. So let me eliminate those guys real quick, and when they are out of the game, there's just one unit. You see that the wall is now been broken, so I will just crush those guys real quick. The units in the center, so we'll just waltz straight over those guys with a bull rush. Battle cattle action, and then take those out. Yep, those poor swords. Yep, this doesn't look good. Well, at least they tried, yes. Whoa, this defensive fire. That's a card you get when you defend a fortified location. So this can deal a lot of damage if we give them the time to reuse it a couple of times. But yeah, this was quick run. So no chance. So gives us a little bit more experience. That's great. And we suffered no casualties at all. That's great. So the city is ours. You see an update. One of the players has been eliminated. That's nice. So there's only one left now. Now that we occupied a second strong city, we have one here. Maybe we can upgrade. We hold about, I would say, 50% of the map. Like obviously a lot of the things we have not even captured yet. It could be that the AI back here, which didn't have to fight so far, has captured a lot of the scenario and is quite strong by now. Let's see. But I think we're in a really good, solid position. We can recruit a third hero now. Like we have a level up at our disposal. We have enough resource income by now that we can really go out and, branch out into creating some more buildings or upgrading some of our locations soon, and get our economy rolling, like recruiting a lot of units. Yeah. So I would say, without further ado, we would just, end this match here and then move on to another faction just to get a feel for how those play. So let's see. If there are any other questions for this, like the Thousand Kingdoms, the Knight faction, this is only a small glimpse of the Thousand Kingdoms. This one here we played is very focused on building strong Knight-type armies, but there are very different heroes at the disposal of this faction. Some go for all those angelic units, some go for Guardian-type units, some have like a mix of more infantry and catapult-type things. Depending on the buildings you can place, you can unlock different units. So there's a lot of freedom of how you want to play those factions as well. So let's jump back to the main menu here and have a look.
Yeah, a lot of people like the story.
The story, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, focus on the story. Story is fantastic.
That's great to hear. I obviously don't want to spoil anything, so we will not touch the story. Maybe a quick glimpse here. Like you can see on this account, all of the campaign maps are still locked. You can play this on different difficulties as well. So if you want to have a high challenge or like play more like story focused, that's how you can decide for yourself. And you will unlock more and more of those scenarios as you progress the story. And yeah, the story spans multiple factions, so you get to know the world and their struggles from different angles. I think that's quite interesting. We just start a second skirmish map, I would say. Let's jump to the dark side. That's the other world in our game. We have the light side and the dark side. They all have their own names and so on, but just for simplicity's sake, this is the home of the firstborn humans, like an ancient race of humans. And the faction at home in this world is the old race. We just fought the green player who actually played the old race. Okay. We have not seen a crusade, so I would actually suggest that we skip the old race right now and we move straight to the crusade. That's a really interesting one. This is our antagonist faction. Nobody likes those guys, but they are really bringing ruin into the world. Okay. And you can see this when you play them. You can see this firsthand. Our mission is to destroy the whole map. Basically, let nothing stand. Exactly, as the Crusade. They have a very different focus on how they want to play the game, at least as one of their playstyles. Yeah. So let's pick a class. We have access to a Cantor. That's a priest-type character, a little bit very different to the priest we saw on the Thousand Kingdoms. He's way more warlike and tanky and has very different cards at his disposal, but still like a priest. The Arbiter, those are the leaders of the Crusade. They are highly destructive ranged units, very powerful, not the strongest in terms of synergy, but and also not leading the highest, like the largest armies. The Vessel is somebody who got punished very severely by filling him or her with the void, with nothingness, so they lose all of their memories, their humanity, and they are like a living example of what happens if you enrage the Crusade. They're very powerful units on their own, leading small armies. Maybe we could go for this. That's a very different playstyle to the High Lord we just saw,
Sounds
who is focused on bigger armies. So let's pick this. And we are called No Fish for Tuffet.
Yeah,
I just noticed it.
it's a random
Okay.
name.
No, that's the name
Or
of one of our colleagues. So
Oh, okay.
I'm playing on her account. So the vessel right now we only have access to two different vocations. We can only choose the Champion of Ruin. Very, very destructive. The other one focuses much more on summoning and supporting other worldly creatures. Let's start our journey. So you can see some of the Crusade right here in the key artwork, or like in the loading screen artwork. So the Crusade is all about, they are red and black, and they are all about controlling purgatories, those massive black holes, you see this here, and they move them across the world and devour everything. And when they devour some part of the land, a location, they will leave behind the silence, this red stuff down here, which is a highly dangerous corruption. Nothing can live inside the silence. Locations which are lost to a purgatory cannot easily be rebuilt. There's a way, but you have to go, jump through some hoops to make it happen. So our goal with the vessel is to aggressively go out, capture things, and then eat them up with our purgatory. I think that's a fun playstyle. You can see this our purgatory in the background here. We have a super strong unit here that's called an Omen. It will defend our purgatory, so it's like a guardian for it. It will stay with the purgatory, that as a lonely Omen can still be overcome with a strong army, so we need to be a little bit careful. The purgatory is not fortified, so players or enemies don't have to stop for several turns and siege the location. So if somebody approaches really quickly or they sneak through the forest and surprise attack and we are away, then they might take us out. So let's see, and this is our vessel. This is this character here, very strong, potent in melee, very tough. It enfeebles all the enemies around it, so they become weaker and weaker. And those guys here, they deal hefty ranged damage. So let's see, we'll pick up
There's a question about the Crusade. In which scenario does the Crusade not want to destroy everything?
So there are very different playstyles. The Cantors, I just explained the other, the priest type heroes, for example, they have a much more worldly focus. They need human followers, and they can recruit human followers from the different locations they capture. And they also have access to multiple buildings they have to place on those locations to unlock even stronger mortal followers. So you can play the Crusade, let's say quite classically, like the Thousand Kingdoms, by capturing everything and spreading your sphere of influence, creating buildings and upgrades. This is an absolute viable strategy, but then you will not have access to the void, the void essence up here, because this is generated by your purgatory. And the more we feed the purgatory, the more it destroys and eats, the stronger it becomes and the more void it generates. This character, the vessel, is very much focused on getting as much void as possible. It can even destroy locations like a purgatory to accelerate this process and level up the purgatory to get more and more void, and then excuse me, and then summon void creatures. They are like a different type of creatures. There's a whole pool of those creatures available. So right now, just to show the difference from the Thousand Kingdoms, we will not play them very conservatively by capturing everything. We'll just crush things, because that's also fun. Let's see, what do we have here? This is some units of the old race. This is something we want to eat. Old Drake, that's like a village, basically on the dark side. Oh yeah, we are on the dark world right now, as you might see. It looks a little bit different. This is more like a snowy area, and I don't see any light veins as of now. But as we explore a little bit, you will see that the world looks quite different. What do we have here? And also, the creatures which are roaming the world are very, very different as well. The Urbolgs over here. And I just saw, peeking from the fog of war, that's really bad luck. This is really dangerous. It's called an Urborn. And it's not something we want to engage with as of yet. That's just very strong. So those creatures are also roaming the dark side. It has captured a location, so it will probably stay put there, so we can ignore it for now. This is a ruined location. We cannot eat ruins. There's nothing to eat there, so we would have to rebuild it first. So for now, I think we'll just go up and eat whatever this thing is, this village. So those things shoot very with high damage. That's super dangerous. We only have 2 units. So I would actually say we pick up
another card.
Some units, like some throwaway units. It's difficult to say, because it's really, that's not a good start. Those guys up there, those little things, they deal very high damage. and they can take out our strong hero unit relatively effectively. They are like basically a counter to this type of unit. So for now, we will go a little bit more in the opposite direction. Oh, there's a river, we cannot cross it easily. There's a bridge. If we okay, we are hemmed in by this huge creature which sits on the bridge.
Closer.
Okay, that's not ideal. I will just. We have 50. Let's just kill those guys off. I just collect a little bit of experience for now. We need to make this thing stronger ASAP. It's our main fighter. Now let's send up some area. This will debuff our enemies with fear and also deal some damage in the range. So this faction is a lot about fear and dread. So we will send like our Voidkin here. When it returns, will deal a lot of damage. So this thing is a really high damage dealing type of unit. And the Melgots we have back here are also dealing high damage, but they are quite susceptible to being attacked. We need a couple more units just to be more tanky. I suffered quite a bit of damage here. That's not ideal because we're really a little bit in a bad luck here. The unit we just defeated is called Garans, and they are specialized in destroying supernatural enemies, exactly like our void creatures. So we suffered way more damage than I anticipated. So let's rebuild this location, because then it will slowly grow, and when it's fat and juicy, we will just eat it with a purgatory. So for now, I think we will just end our turn here. This is a really difficult start. I can't spread out. This one was destroyed. It's pure chance. So there was nothing to really eat in the first turn, and this one is heavily defended with just the right units for us not to easily attack. We need a level up. That's the first step. If we can get a level up, we can add more units to our army. This would make things much easier. So what we will do is we will try to take out something like those guys. It's only one unit. I'm not sure if this will be enough to gain the level up, but for now that's the best we can do. Take those. Try to debuff them. And then kill them as quickly as possible. We are suffering heavy damage, so we need to retreat maybe to the Purgatory next turn to restore some damage. Immediate explosion. This one is a really nice card if I'm a little bit further away, but yeah, for now I'll just use it as a nuke on my position. It sends like an evil twin, basically the void essence from this creature, like a copy of this creature across the battlefield, dealing damage, and when it returns, it explodes, dealing even more damage. So we are close to a level up, but not quite there yet. So we will have to think of something. That's not the best start, but we'll get there. Okay. So there's one more army. If we take those out, we will definitely get the level up. They have reflect damage. They don't have evade, do they? No. So I will deal a lot of damage with my hero because it attacks a lot of units around it. It has trample perk. And another thing, we talked about this earlier, you see that I earned a little bit of gold, 39 gold in this loot wagon right here. It's like the transport. And if I bring this back to a location like our purgatory, which has the storage perk, the loot will be cashed in. Bam, you saw the little coins, and now I can use this gold. So we could, let's pick up some more units to take with us. We still desperately need this level up. I think we should stay one turn here to regenerate some of our health, 20% of the lost health. This would be really nice, because otherwise I fear that with the 2 units we might be taken out. It's a really slow start, but there's nothing we can do about it. So let's stay one more turn, regenerate, and then hopefully get our level up, and then take this location and feed our purgatory. So now we've regenerated some health. As you can see, now back to 50%. We will, keep those here. Chase down those enemies. And what we can do, for example, if we play this card, we can debuff their power and also break through enemies' defenses in the fortification quicker. I think we can afford it, so let's just debuff those guys and make us as strong as possible. So let's see if this works. Again, let's try to weaken as many of those as possible. So see, I reflect a ton of damage, and they have a huge amount of attacks, a lot of small enemies, so they basically take themselves out as they attack this creature. Because like all the creatures with the whirlwinds or spikes have this reflect damage, and this is a specialty of our vessel. So if we can find a horde of weaker critters, it's the ideal target. Just throw it in, and they will just crush, they kill themselves by attacking it. So this is great. Now finally,
there we leveled up.
So now let's see what we get. So we can upgrade the card we just played to make this this debuff, like to weaken our enemies even further if we play it. This is a building card. That's interesting. The Void Effigy. This lets us defend locations much more heavily and gives us access to a lot of very useful perks. But we cannot play it on ruined locations. So if we want to eat everything, probably we should not focus on this. For now, since we are a strong fighting type of hero, I would focus on more battle cards. And this deals damage, which is always nice, and then eats up all the corpses on the target area to summon void mares, those the creatures depicted on the card, which is really nice. So like a hybrid summoning and damage card, but you have to play it a little bit carefully because you need corpses. We can recruit a new hero. Should we go for the hero? Boom, 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 boom. Right now there's basically no use. I think we still go for it, just to see what we get. An Arbiter, a Cantor, both nice. So what's really cool about the Cantor, he has the Spawner Thralls perk. So this means he can just generate units for free every couple of turns, the basic Thrall type units. But since our economy is so bad right now and we haven't even captured something, I think we should take all the help we can get. This one is more of a fighting hero, and if we cannot provide an army for him, it will be for naught. So let's pick this guy. This is also interesting. It's a strong healer. And we can always use a healer, but I think this one is a healer too, so we'll go for the Cantor. That's like the ideal type of unit we need now. So let's have a look real quick. So that's the Cantor. Like you see this type of priest. He will spawn units regularly. He will heal our units, and he comes with a couple of units of thralls already. Always nice. So next time we want to take out this thing. Should we send the Cantor instead of our vessel? That's a good question actually, because these guys trample. They are strong against our weak units, but those guys are really bad against our weak units because they only have a single strong shot. It's wasted on those masses of thralls. So let's see, maybe this is really good. We swarm the guys on the bottom with a lot of thralls and keep the ones on the top at bay with a single hero, because they cannot trample him, they cannot hit multiple units, it's only a single one. What we will also do, because we haven't shown it yet, I will just move to my other hero, and then they meet, and I can freely exchange loot, artifacts. I can also exchange units. And you see the Cantor can lead much larger armies because he's a weaker fighter. We will take those guys to deal a lot of damage. We will also take more thralls, because remember the thralls, I didn't even mention it, but the thralls also have this banding perk. So the more believers are in the same army, the stronger the thralls become. So we want to stuff our army full of thralls. So that's nice. Pick up those units, use this hero, and should be much easier, have a much easier time to handle this type of army than our poor vessel up over here. So they will shoot and deal a lot of damage, so we will protect them with this massive black basilica, it is called. And now they are benefiting from supernatural wards and should be able to get to those guys relatively easily. They leave this area, so I will place another buff field, which also adds this effect to our black basilica here. And now we'll just crush those guys in melee, because in melee they are not good. So let's see, and our Cantor's doing a fine job of holding those guys at bay while the male gods are working on them. I think this will be fine. We will just
maybe there,
here, and then also put up a defensive card here, transport this effect to the card down here. So that's a bit more of like a complicated playstyle. You have different fields which transfer all of their effects to your main field, so to speak, to this black basilica. And if you pick up more, exactly. So now this looks really nice. We lost a couple of thralls. It's absolutely no matter. This guy is a strong healer. He will just replenish the losses very quickly. So it's basically no damage done here. So we lost 16 of 54 thralls. like those are thralls. They're basically battle slaves. We
Okay.
we are now playing the Crusade, so we don't care about those people.
Yeah, this is true. It's a different strategy now.
So yeah, we got this. That's nice. And now finally, we could pick up our purgatory and send it up here to eat up this location. Bam. So this location is now eaten and becomes devoured. And the purgatory gained or ate enough of this prosperity of this location to gain a level up. That's awesome. So we will immediately gain this purgatory upgrade card. We played on our purgatory, and this is interesting. So as you can see, this faction can really basically level up their main city, their main location, the purgatory. Similar to heroes, you can pick between different upgrades. Some of them give you access to more sacrifice type things. You can trade resources for one another. You can summon stronger units. All of those things. And the key part is as well, whenever you level up your purgatory, you gain more income in Void Essence, what we need to summon those units. This one is strong. High Void summoning can summon really strong units, but it's very expensive. We cannot afford this by now, so we could just use the basic summoning we have, and if we upgrade it, reduce the costs for the card, so we can summon more things. Or we can focus more on the worldly resources by upgrading this the transformation card here, so we can spend Void Essence to transform it into building material and gold. Really depends on what kind of route we want to go, more worldly or more supernatural. I would say we go all in on the supernatural side and eat whatever we can. So, finally, as you can see, this is now completely destroyed, and it's like has this red sheen. This is now this is suffering from silence. This can never be rebuilt, basically. It's unless you do some special things in the game. Every faction has a way to remove the silence, but it's not so easy. What we should do, though, we don't want wild beasts and monsters basically moving into this location and then spawning from there. So there's a trick. Next turn, because they can no longer move. As a Crusade, the locations which are close to your position, you want to leave some garrison units there, some cheap units like a thrall unit or like a Giga, the small void creatures. Because as soon as the location is blocked by your units, hostile forces cannot move in, like the neutral units cannot make a monster nest there, and then start spawning from there, which is really annoying if you cannot get this under control. So let's move down here. Well, let's pick up a unit of thralls for our huge thrall army. And now we move our Cantor back down. And we will place the damaged... No, we'll heal them. We'll place the thralls in the garrison. They will stay behind in the location, protected, and make sure that no stupid monsters are moving in and spreading like a pest. So... that's good. We are completely stuck here. It's a really terrible starting position. So we have only one option. We have to go through the Urban of the bridge. And the funny thing about this is he started spawning creatures already, so we have to take him out quickly before this army gets out of hand and becomes much more strong. And they also spawned a garrison unit, which belongs to this bridge location. So now there was one Urban 2 turns earlier, now it's already 3 units. This is not great. We have to figure something out very quickly. I think we will bring our vessel. No, we'll just take back our loot here. And then we will take the Urban next turn and hope that it works. We have to debuff him with a card from the vessel. So we combine the two abilities of our heroes to give us a better fighting chance. Let's hope that it didn't spawn any new units. Nope. But still, that's not awesome. Let's see, we have this vessel. Should we fight with a vessel? We can do one more summoning. Let's hope for something strong. Oh, okay, that's awesome. It's another unit of male gods. They deal very high damage to single strong units like this Omen here or the Urban. So that's basically the best thing which can happen to us. So now we just have to keep it in place, like with a tank type unit, for as long as we can to really work on it. The one thing, okay, let's go for this. We will bring those units back down and look at our creature here. Nope. So we will bring those units down here. Put everything in this army. So we'll take out the damaged units of thralls and pick the second unit of maggots. This guy has to take on the vessel, and those guys should not, the Urban, and those guys should not come close to the Urban because they are infantry. And the Urban has the Devour perk. It eats infantry units for lunch, literally. And whenever it does so, like that's this perk, it can heal health. And that's not great. We will never be able to take it out if we bring too much infantry. So we really have to think this through now and make sure that this guy tanks the Urban for as long as possible. Let me quickly take a look at our other army. Those creatures are beasts, so they cannot be devoured. Maybe too nimble, or they just don't taste well, I'm not sure. But we will give those units to the Cantor to take them with him into the battle. So that's the best we can do. It's not great. I don't feel great about this, but that's the least all we can do really. Yeah. So we will just move this guy in there, try to shoot as much as we can at the big worm, and those guys will eventually make their way over there. And I'm not sure if they are doing more harm than good by being eaten. We will see how this works out. First we will move through here. We have to wait for next turn anyways, so we can make sure that we can debuff this creature. It's a risk. If he spawns, or if it spawns more units, we will be in big trouble. Like that's So the community, for the community, this is the nature of randomized maps. Basically, sometimes your starting position is not the best, but you can always make something of it. So let's hope for the best here. It did not spawn anything right now. That's good, because it has a chance to spawn things every turn. Now we will use this debuff card. We should have upgraded it earlier when we got the chance to slightly debuff the location and its armies, and then we will really try our best to take this out. Let's make absolutely sure that we are sitting in the right positions. Against strong enemies, always check them first, see where they are positioned, so you can place your counters. These units of militia will shoot a little bit. The Purzel is just a mediocre, it's a good tank, but not a good damage dealer. This thing is just scary. So what we want to do is, we want to have our maggots on the top side shooting down. We don't want them to waste shots on the militia. That's super waste. We want to lure the militia away with our own thralls. And then we want to have our hero up here, so he hopefully drags those units to his position and can tank them there. So basically our hero up here, our guys down here to drag the militia away, and then we have all of our shooter guys, and those little critters can also shoot. Maybe should not put them too close to one another, because if the big worm breaks through, then he will immediately engage all of them in melee and they can no longer shoot. So maybe he might still be able to take him out after the sad end of our brave Cantor here. Let's see. Let's hope for the best. Not sure if this is gonna work. It's really not great to fight an Urban in the beginning. So as you can see, this works well. He's drawn to our hero. That's great. We are taking care of those guys down here. The Purzel needs to go down as quickly as possible. We wasted one unit because I put them too much down. They are fighting against those.
Oh no.
But that's fine. So, see, the Purzel goes down. And now, immediately throw up the defensive card here. Throw up the defensive card here to give them a little bit of an edge. And it also transfers its effect over to this area anyways. So you can see this thing immediately kills off all our Gigas. We should have put them further towards the back. So... But it is taking quite some damage. Those two maggot units, we had luck that we got a second unit, are amongst the highest damage dealing type of units against big targets.
It's getting weaker.
Now our guys come in and will be devoured.
Oh no.
That's absolutely terrifying. So he will kill a lot of those to heal himself. We will try to boost their defense as much as possible, and it just goes down.
Oh.
Awesome. We just lost one small unit. That's great.
Worked.
The Cantor tanked like a champ. Awesome. With all the defensive cards at his disposal, the Cantor is a really strong tank, so that's a really nice
leveled up, of course.
That's awesome as well. It's desperately needed. So let's see what the Cantor will gain. So the Cantor is more focused on building up the worldly economy, like I said. So those are different type of building cards. They are very nice, but if we move our purgatory through this bridge, it will be
Yeah.
destroyed together with the buildings. So for now, I would just pick the battle card, which will give us another circle on the battlefield, which is transferred over to our Black Basilica, so we can buff even more areas of the battlefield. This one, this time, is an offensive buff, which is also nice, so it's not only tanky. This was nice. So now we will pick those guys, go to our Cantor, and pick up some of the loot they won in the battle, and we will make sure that if the Cantor would be attacked by something, we will bring back some of the less damaged units here. So the Cantor now can lead 6 units, which is also great. So we'll bring in another unit of thralls for now, and this guy will bring back our loot back to our home, so we can immediately cash it in and make something with it. So as you can see, you don't always have to focus on your starting hero. They are generally the strongest type of heroes you have, but the basic heroes are absolutely potent as well and can do a lot of things. And it's often very important to pick heroes which contemplate your starting hero, not do the same thing. Without the counter we would have been really screwed here. So next turn we are trying to bring down the purgatory to eat up the bridge, I would say, and follow us along, and then finally we can get cooking here and unlock some more stronger things. So we bring back the loot. Got some cash here. Let's see, if we command our purgatory, it will not be able to reach this in one move. That's the limit of its movement. So we could move back down here than here, but this costs us additional resources. So it would be better if we captured this location first, and then moved here, kill this, and then moved down there later. So let's have a look what this is. This is actually a monster lair right now. It spawns more and more monsters. It's in ruins, so it's also really not good for us because we would have to build it up to eat it. So it's really, really not the best start. I think for now we'll just move the purgatory further down. So down here, back to where we started from, just in preparation of the next turn, we'll move our vessel down here. There's nothing to explore here, and use our counter to explore further. He's already healing those people here. We'll leave them, maybe not we'll leave them, we'll leave them in the garrison just to prevent enemies from moving in. Like neutral enemies will always be scared away by defended locations. So if you don't want neutrals, like a pack of wild boars or something, to take your empty locations, you leave some defenders, it doesn't have to be strong, to scare them away. AI enemies will obviously just attack, but the neutrals which roam the world can be quite annoying, so always leave a little bit of defense, and you can leave your location much easier. So we hide in the forest down here. Let's see, this is another destroyed location. Okay, we have really the worst luck in the world right now. Everything is destroyed. I wanted to destroy everything, so this is not fair.
Maybe in the back now.
Yep, let's see. Oh, this is cool. We could take this. This is a military camp. That's nice. So when the purgatory comes here next turn, then we should already start the siege over here. Oh, there's another very strong unit here. That's an architect. It's already damaged. That's great. Somebody probably died fighting it. That's cool. We'll probably stay away from a strong army like this, but let's see. We have our vessel here. We'll bring it over here as well. The vessel is very good at besieging locations because it's a vortex around it, grinds the whole city to dust. Basically, that's a part of the lore here. And it has a very strong siege perk. So that's this one. And this means that you have to besiege locations way shorter. It's very potent. It also has a card which even reduces the siege time further. So you could, in theory, attack a strongly defended location like capital, play the card, and immediately attack it out of nowhere. So it's really, heroes like this are super dangerous, especially in multiplayer, because they can just surprise your enemy immediately when they rely on their fortifications to hold the enemy at bay for a couple of turns. Cool, let's see what happens here. Oh, there's some AI, excuse me, working up there. They've just upgraded a location.
Okay.
They will probably come for us soon. Oh, that's a red army. Oh, somebody upgraded the location and somebody else captured it. So there's two parties fighting up there. Let's see. Let's inspect this. That's fun, okay. This is actually another Crusade, so funny. And they also brought a vessel hero, but it has a very small army, so we should be able to take it out. We want to capture this location though first. So first we will bring our purgatory down here and eat up this location. Now this was a mistake. I just realized, because we got a level up, that's nice at least, and because we devoured 6 prosperity from this location, so we can upgrade it further, but we forgot to eat this location. So it would have been better to move down here, then over here, and then continue throughout the rest of the map, because now we have to move back and then back again, which wastes resources and turns.
Okay.
It's not the optimal play. Again, I'm just doing this to show how not to do it. Yeah, well, live and learn, I guess. So let's level up our purgatory and see what we can do here. So this is the big summoning again. We will increase our income now by this level up to 30 per turn. So maybe we can start thinking about this card sometime soon. I wouldn't do it now. I would upgrade this summoning card further. So now we are at gold rank. So our summoning only costs 40 of this faction resource instead of 60 in the beginning, which is quite significant. If we gain one more level up, we can start summoning a void unit every turn. And this is really strong. So already quite nice. We will quickly capture this location. Let's have a quick look here. Defensive units, that's just a unit which allows you to be more effective at building things. It's not a really good combat unit. It has a pioneer perk. Those types as well. I think we will just completely crush those. Don't have to pay too much attention to where we put our units. Just go in there and wipe them out real quick. I haven't shown this yet, but if you want, you can pause the battle. Like we talked about this, but you can also speed up the battle. You see in the bottom right. So if you think I'm about to win anyways, it's a relatively easy battle. I just exactly. So this is twice the speed now. Let's buff our units down here. They will also buff those and place the defense here. So you can see. And if I want to go completely crazy, it's 4 times the speed. So now like they will be destroyed relatively quickly. But it's not the best, so if you still need to figure out what's going on and play some cards, this is really just for, you know, speeding up like a battle you have already won or against very weak enemies. So normally like the normal speed is most appropriate. Suffered some losses, gained a level up, that's nice. Losses are not so much of a concern with those weak units, we can replace them easily. So now this is really interesting. This allows us to spend some voice essence to upgrade our lowly thrall units to way more elite, mortal believer type units. And they can be chosen, augurs or ringbound, very different types of units. This is a really nice card to have, but it competes with our summoning cards. So we have to really figure out, this is also a nice card which deals damage in the battle, which spreads around to the other circles.
Maybe that one.
Damage or upgrades?
Maybe the upgrades. This is the upgrades, right?
Those,
oh no, that's.
This is lets us upgrade units to more elite units, like mortal type units, human units. This is like a strong damage card.
Then maybe the damage card, because that's what you want.
The damage card, whatever you want. We can now lead an additional unit in battle, so increase the overall size of our army. Extremely important to level up quickly with your heroes. You see, we started at 5, he's already at 7. This guy is still at 3. Because we only leveled up once with our main hero, which we, you know, because of the stupid start situation. This one is normally very effective at killing, so we will now use both of them and try to level up very quickly to increase the size of their army. That's another thing we changed in a recent balancing patch. A lot of the very strong combat heroes had very small armies throughout the entire leveling process. Now they gain an additional unit every level, most of them, so they can really catch up to the heroes who lead larger armies and remain relevant throughout most of the game. So we need to fight something. We leave those here, that's good. We pick those, nope, leave them here. And we want to go down here. I think the map is ending here, so we will just take a look at the other vessel up here. It's not the best. It would be like a duel between 2 very similarly matched enemies. So it's not ideal. We could suffer too many losses. For now, I will just sneak up a little bit, trying to find a forest which is big enough for me to hide. This one is good, so they can't see me. Let's see what they do. Maybe they're going for this one, but they cannot take out the defender of the defense of this location here, which is important because that's our capital.
So you added more defense.
Exactly, like I don't trust this. Maybe they are summoning something and going straight at our throat. So we need to be a little bit careful. It's a powerful weapon, the purgatory, but it is also our main weak spot. So if we push this straight into the enemy's kingdom and they just collect a strong army and counterattack it, we might be wiped off out of the game very quickly.
Ooh.
Any other questions so far? Cutscenes?
How many unique units are in the game at launch?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think about 120, 130-ish, something like this. So there's a lot of choice. All the factions have access to about 12, 15, 16 unique units. And then we have a lot of neutral units, the things you can see roaming the map, coming from all the neutral heroes. And you can gain access to all of those units to build interesting builds which are outside the standard playstyle of the faction. So everything you can see in the game you can somehow obtain, summon, find somewhere as well. I think there was something about... Can't wait to see how the campaign ends. I've played through a lot of it during early access, so the previous campaign. Yeah, we've done a lot of work in the campaign, so there was a lot of polish also for the earlier maps. So yep, if you're interested, please play them from the beginning, but you can also continue your plays, your save game obviously. And the remaining maps of the campaign you didn't have access to right now. I think they make up the majority of the playtime in the campaign, so there's like a bigger portion of it. And it's quite interesting. I'm really excited to hear your feedback, for sure. So let's see, what can we do? We want to go here and eat it. Eat it well. So let's send the counter up ahead. He's really damaged by now. Maybe it would actually be better to keep him back. That's really cool. We get access to a couple of rogue or bandit type units here.
Okay.
And we can even summon Concorder. Those are even more specialized rogue type units. We don't have a hero who is specialized in rogues, but they have a couple of really cool things. And the biggest one is, if we just have a rogue unit, you see that they have the pillage perk. We just put them in our army or even the reserves, then we will gain more money from battles or from adventures or from looting locations.
Okay.
So just having them will grant us more income, which is awesome because we don't have a lot of gold income. As you can see, we focus everything on void. So I think we should pick one of those units up. For now, I will leave a unit here to defend it and stay put just to make sure that we heal a little bit more before we step out. And I will quickly scout ahead a little bit. There's a river up here, so the enemies have to be coming from here. There's not much space left, so I will move back just to make sure that they cannot easily attack me. I hope those guys will not go for me. Let's see. And we will now... I would like to bring in the purgatory to eat this, but first I want to pick up one unit of bandits because they will be gone when we eat it. So let's wait until the next turn. No. Let's go over here to eat this. You know what? What we could do should be upgraded first, because we will eat all the prosperity a location has. So if we let it grow for a little bit longer, we fatten it up, and then we can eat it for much stronger effect. Difficult to say. No, I think we are greedy and just move over there. Let's see if we gain enough prosperity to do something meaningful. No, so short. We should have waited a turn, but fair. So now we have to bring it back. Let's wait for a turn. RNG does play a big part in the game. So somebody in the chat says RNG, so randomness, plays a big part in the game, for sure, because strategy and choices make a huge difference. Yes, for sure. So it's super important that some parts are based on luck. For example, there can be kobold heroes who try to barter with enemies and locations, and sometimes they can make a really bad deal. But often they make a very good deal, and it's a little bit more luck-based. Summoning is a little bit more luck-based if you get stronger or slightly weaker units. But there are also a ton of heroes which rely very little on RNG, where everything they do is quite deterministic. They have this building, this type of unit, this type of income booster, this type of synergy. So it's really up to the player. Kobold scammers. If you have been scammed by a kobold once, you should know how to avoid it. So yeah, but this is really up to the play type. But please understand, we have a couple of people in our community who feel very strongly about, that RNG or like randomness can be negative. But we also have others who feel that this is a big part of the fun to them.
Yeah.
Those are different player types, so it's very important to us to offer a lot of different hero classes, play styles for all of those player types. And it's up to you which heroes you want to settle on and what kind of strategies you want to play.
Yeah.
So let's see, we have a vessel right here. What's the time saying? Oh, so
Yeah, it's so
time flies. So I think we will
we've been playing
continue.
for over an hour.
Yeah, okay. I think the stream is supposed to end at 7:30.
Yeah, so 15 minutes.
15 minutes,
15
okay.
minutes.
So we'll continue playing a little bit. Guys and girls in the chat, now would be the time to ask a couple of final questions. We'll slowly ramp it down. In the end, please stay with us. We will announce like a nice quiz night we are doing tonight, so you can get some free Steam keys and some other goodies, if I'm correctly informed.
Yep.
So please stay, and we'll send you the link where you can participate in a couple of minutes. So let's see if somebody has some more questions. All welcome to join the quiz in the Discord. Yeah, perfect, exactly. So let's see, we don't want to take those. We want, look at this. A really strong army. This time the old race. That's a neutral hero. That's one of the Eurodite. That's scholars. They are journeying across the world to collect the wisdom of the world. And he can spawn units. That's already not nice. He leads horror type units, okay. And he has a ton of horror type units. This is probably a botanist, exactly. Not the one of the white, the botanist. This guy seeds out life. He has unique cards. You can see them down here. For example, this one, seed life. And then a little plantling sprouts.
Yeah.
And you can either plant more little plantlings, or you can play the same card on the little plantling to upgrade it to a much stronger plant type card, and then to an even higher one. So, and all of those plants are considered to be horror type units, wild beast and horror. So he is really strong at leading those horror units as well, and those units are quite dangerous.
Useful.
Useful for him, but it's not great for us. It's already a huge army here, so our Kantar will struggle quite a bit against those, and our vessel at level 2 doesn't stand a chance. So we will try to avoid this guy with the vessel. Let's pick up a unit of, we can afford it because I picked up, I'm an idiot, I picked up a unit of thralls in the last turn. So what we are doing, we will bring back our Purgatory here, and now we will use this hero to grab some gold we gained from a battle, bring it back to our Purgatory, and then we have enough gold to afford a unit of mandates for our camp tool. That's nice. And then we want to retreat a bit because I think those guys might attack us, which is not the best thing for us to happen right now. We will just put them in the resource because the thralls boost them like each other, so that's great to have them all in the same army. We have a really damaged unit here, that's not great, so let's just spread those units around a little bit more and keep them back here. And we're out of money, so that's just how it is. For now we'll just wait here and see. If they want to besiege us, okay, that's cool, then we can at least use the units and our reserves to fight with us. We will put the rogues here. Nope, we'll put those guys here. This is actually better. So let's see.
There's a question.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the rationale behind nerfing heal and supply so much?
Oh, that's a really good one. So, just for some context for the rest of the community here, we have several effects. You have seen the supply perk from our locations, which regenerates the health of our damaged units. Healer from some units or heroes does the same. And at some point in time, we reduce the effectiveness of both of those effects by about 30% or so, I think. The rationale was, in the earlier builds of the game, we thought that there was too little attrition in the game. So basically, a lot of players went through several neutral units, and because they had relatively easy access to a healer type unit or to locations with supply or to other cards which heal your units, it was too easy to heal your units for free. And this just meant you can you could keep on the being on the offensive, and also a lot of resources would build up, and all your armies were full, and you could not even recruit them. This is different in multiplayer, where people tend to play way more aggressive, and there it leads to more losses. But especially in a single-player focused game against AI, in the campaign or in the skirmish modes, the game lacked this damage you sustain continuously. So what we wanted to do is reduce the for free healing a little bit, but we added a lot more options in the last balancing patch as well for different types of healing. We added healing, the supply, to a lot of the buildings the heroes can build. We added it to a lot of blue cards. We spread around the blue cards which allow you to heal your armies for a price. And this is fair because then there is some resource sink. Do you go for new units? Do you want to go for a healing type of effect, which might be more effective if lots of units are damaged? But yeah, like I said, if it's just free and everybody heals every damage, then it's just not nice. Only the battles where you sustain massive losses are really meaningful. Everything else it doesn't matter. So this was our feeling. This is why we reduced it. And it made all the other cards, the buildings, the other blue cards I mentioned, which have storage effects and so on, which you can level up, much more meaningful. So in the end, we thought this makes the game better. But yeah, please let us know if you're on the wrong foot here. We love your feedback, and we have a really cool community in Discord, giving us a lot of really good insights on their thoughts on the balancing and so on, and we will keep listening and do changes accordingly for sure. But yeah, at least that's the rationale behind it. So, I want to play a final battle really, and just kill something. We picked up our unit here, that's great. I will now park the Purgatory for now, and summon some units, and see if we can find some... That's a little bit of a weaker unit. They shoot, they are not bad, but we need something more beefy in the front lines. So I was hoping for something like Void Mares. They are really strong to just block off enemy damage, but we can also block the enemy with a lot of thralls. That's fine. So let's go out, kill some things. Wow. That's an enormous army. We don't want to have anything to do with those guys. Those two units are also quite strong. Let's see, can we take those out? This is dangerous because they have so-called line attacks. They cut right through multiple fighters here. So they are really good against infantry. So the Crusade is really struggling today on the dark side. It's really terrible starting position. There's another destroyed location down here, so really not the best. So we will just go up and those guys. Maybe I need to get rid of this because they keep spawning more and more monsters. That's the monster lair. That's a ruin, and then monsters move in and then they keep spawning monsters everywhere. It is annoying, but it's also annoying for our enemies. So for now, let's keep those. Oh, there's another hero, Rogue Prince. We will take this guy out just to go out with a bang. This guy will crush into our line, so we'll again tank it with a cantor. Have all of our infantry up here. We will pick up those units to bring them with us and keep healing them when we leave the location. This one is now okay defended. They spawn this unit of watchers. That's a militia type unit for this faction. They will keep watch, quite literally, over this location. No pun intended. So let's attack those guys and see what happens. And hopefully the botanist with this huge army of horrors went far away. Whoa. Tank this guy, give those a little bit of a defense. Oh, they broke a little bit through. Ugh.
Oh no.
This guy has a damage card, but we do too. So let's play this here. Those guys are already dead. Let's buff this as much as possible. Oh, this is wrong. I should have buffed our ranged units for way more effect, not the one hero here. This is a dangerous card. It lures everybody to this pile of gold, which then explodes because it's a fake pile of gold. That's a rogue prince. Yeah. So they're all about gold and how do you call this, bribery and all those things. So it's a kind of fun hero as well. So we suffered some damage, but no meaningful losses. Scared the enemy away. That's fine. Let's try to heal up and bring our vessel over here. No, it will stay there to here. And now we will be defeated by this botanist, one of our strongest heroes. We got a lot of feedback from the community that the botanist is extremely powerful. We nerfed it a little bit. Yeah. So it's not the best showing now for the Cantor as a secondary hero to this starting vocation. But we should be able to have a fighting chance against him if we leveled up a little bit more. So those guys fly and they now attack our ranged units. That's not ideal. So actually our little, like a big group of thralls is doing a fine job, but they are getting decimated by this thing which has huge AoE type of attacks, and those guys, what we had earlier, had those nasty reflect damage things. They have thorns, those are rose knights, so they are being killed by their own attacks. That's not ideal. So we will probably get destroyed here. We'll try to take those out with this damaging card we have, but we are dead. I think that's a suitable way to end the stream. We lost one of our heroes. That's really good to show because it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You can see we suffered all of the units. We could have retreated, just ran away, brought everybody back. But if a unit is dead, they also suffered quite some losses. And if a unit is destroyed, a hero, you see that there's no grayed out. So in 2 turns, they will be able to return to us, and we can recruit them for free.
Okay.
And they will even come with some new units. And they also gain some experience in the battle, so this is actually not all is lost. So we can bring them back from our capital city when we lose a hero.
Okay.
So that's fine. This is the guy, still very strong. So I think this is where we will slowly end it. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed like this sneak peek into our game. All in all, right now we have 3 playable factions. Like I said, around 40 hero vocations you can try out and unlock. And obviously we are thinking about hopefully adding more to the game. Let's see how this works out for us. But there are some things in the works already. And yeah, I hope you will look into the game when it comes out tomorrow. This will be really appreciated. We need all the support we can get. And thank you so much for being with us today. Please, again, as a reminder, we have this, I think it was already posted in the chat. There will be prizes in this quiz show. Can you hit enter real quick, or let me quickly click into the chat here. Now hit enter. Yeah. So we just posted the link to our Discord, and if you click it, you can join it for free, no problem. If you want to engage with the community, or just to answer a couple of fun questions and hopefully get some nice prize for it. So yeah, please jump over and join us there, and let us know what you think. This is the ideal way to let us know your opinion in the Discord. So if you have any thoughts on the game, please share it there. We read everything which is in there and try to respond accordingly. So thank you very much, guys. It has been a pleasure, and see you hopefully soon.
Tomorrow, lunch day.
Oh yes, exactly. So thank you very much. Bye bye.